Maharaj, you're on mute.
साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद. First of all, offer my millions of obeisances to lotus feet of Asmade Gurupad Padma Nityala Parishta Jagat Guru Shishyamat Bhakti-Vidanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Then offer obeisances to lotus feet of Dandi Sannyasi Shishyamat Bhakti-Vedanta Dandi Maharaj, Nam Nishta Santa Shri Aniruddhas Prabhuji. All the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, please accept my humble obeisances. We are reading from Chaitanya Caritamrta, 3rd chapter, 53rd verse. शुना भाई ऐ सब चैतन्य महिमा ऐ श्लोके कहे तांद्र महिमा रसीमा. Shuna, please hear, bhai or brothers, this sab all Chaitanya of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahima, the glories, this shloke verse, kahe says, Tandra of him, Mahimar of the glories, Sima the limit. My dear brothers, please hear all these glories of Lord Chaitanya. This verse clearly summarizes his activities and characteristics. Verse 54. कृष्णे दुई वर्णा सदा चांद्र मुखे अथवा कृष्ण के तिहो वर्ण निज सुखे. Krishna, Krishna, these dui, two varna syllables, sada, always, chandra, of whom, mukhe, in the mouth, athava, or else, Krishna ke, Lord Krishna, tiho, he, varne, describes, nija, his own, sukhe, in happiness. The two syllables Krishna are always in his mouth, or he constantly describes Krishna with pleasure. I was reading a book called Padyavali. That one also a verse, similar verse comes. तेभ्यो नमोस्तभो वार्य जीर्ण पंक सम्मग्न मोक्षण विचक्षण पादकेभ्य कृष्णेति वर्ण युगलम आनंदतुर्भवति नरतित रोम वृंदा. So don't remember the verse completely. So तेभ्यो नमोस्तभो वार्य जीर्ण पंक सम्मग्न मोक्षण विचक्षण पादकेभ्य कृष्णेति वर्ण युगलम श्रवणे निशा आनंदतुर्भवति नरतित रोम वृंदा. Those persons are very glorious. Those who hear the name, two syllables Krishna, and who Hari pilot. And when they Hari pilot, so those persons are very great. If you have darshan of such persons who develop Hari pilation, means their hair standing on the end, by hearing the name Krishna or hearing the two syllables Krishna, they are very glorious persons. So Mahaprabhu always chanting Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna Nama Kirtanam, Rama Rama Gana Ramya Divya Chanda Nartanam, Yatra Tatra Krishna Nama Dana Loka Nistaram, Prema Dhama Deva Meva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. Srila Bhakti-Rakshak Maharaj in his Prema Dhama Stotram has told Mahaprabhu always chanting the name Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram, and is dancing. So Mahaprabhu is preaching always chant Krishna Nam. So Krishna Ei Dui Varna. These are very sweet varnas. Because if anyone will hear these two syllables, Sham Nam, Krishna Nam, if anyone will hear, he will be ecstatic if he's a Rasik Vaishnava. Krishna name has great power. Sham Nam has great power. Gaudi Giti Kuch also name, also song comes. Sai ke bash naila Sham Nama Kanera Vitare Giya Marama Pashila आकुल करील मोर प्राण सखी के बाश नैल श्याम नाम. When these syllables Sham Nam, Krishna Nam enters the ears, they capture the heart, and all the senses become completely captivated by this hearing of these two syllables, Krishna. Uh, they actually, the tongue also becomes stunned, the whole body becomes stunned, all the senses become stunned by hearing the sweet names Krishna. So Mahaprabhu is always chanting the names Krishna. And that's why he came in the shape of 5 personalities. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Because Krishna Nama Dana Janya Pancha Tattva Katmakam Sangha Divya Parshadastra Vaibhava Tarakam Shama Gaura Nama Gana Nritya Matta Nagaram Prema Dhama Devameva Naumi Gaura Sundaram Prema Dhama Devameva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. Mahaprabhu always chanting Krishna Nam, and his associates like Advaita Acharya, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Shivas Pandit, they are also chanting Krishna Nam. So, the 2 syllables Krishna are always in his mouth, or he constantly describes Krishna with great pleasure. Now in Jaiva Dharma we'll study Shama, Shabalam Prabhade, Shamala, Shamam Prabhade. Battering the name of Gauranga, one will develop attachment for Krishna. Battering the name of Krishna, one will develop attachment for Gauranga. Both are same ontologically. Krishna and Gauranga are one and the same personality. They are not different. Brajanandana Jai, Shachi Sutta Hoila Shai, Balram Hoila Nitai. So, now the verse 55. Krishna Varna Shabdera Artha Duita Praman Krishna Venu Tandra Mukhe Nahi Aisean. Krishna Varna Shabdera, of the word Krishna Varna, Artha, the meaning, Duitu, Ta, certainly, Praman, examples. Krishna. Krishna Vinu, except for Krishna, Tandra of him, Mukhe, in the mouth, Nahi I say, does not come on anything else. These are 2 meanings of the words Krishna, Varna. Indeed, nothing else but Krishna issues from his mouth. It means he always chanting Krishna Nam. Mahaprabhu also told that if you love me, then don't chant anything other than Krishna Nam. This is what Mahaprabhu's instruction was. Yadi amar prati prati thake sabakare, Krishna vetirikta kichu na boli are. Don't say anything other than Krishna Nam. Only Krishna, 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 you chant like this. So, this is Mahaprabhu's order to all the living entities. Chant Krishna Nam. Keha tandre bale jadi Krishna varana Ara visheshane taro kore nivarana. Someone may say, Keha means someone, Tandre, to him, Bale, ascribes Jadi, if, Krishna, black, Varna, the color, Ara, another, Visheshane, in the adjective, Tara, that, Kare, does, Nivarana, prevention. If someone tries to describe him as being of blackish complexion, the next adjective, Tisha Akrishnam, immediately restricts him. So his Tisha Akrishnam means his bodily complexion is not black. So Varna means color, but here the word color is not used, the sound vibration is used. Deha kanteha yateho akrishna varana. Deha kanti, in the lust of the body, haya is, teho he, akrishna, not black, varana, the color. This color is not black, he is akrishna. He is not Krishna Varna. He is akrishna Varna. He is not blackish, he is golden in color. Akrishna Varne kahe pita varana. So, Akrishna Varane, by a color that is not blackish, Kahe, one means Pita, yellow Varana. So, I think this is all going on the discussion of the Bhagavatam verse. Krishna Varanam Tisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yadnai Sankirtana Prai Rajanti Sumedasaha. the Navayogendras and I think King Nimi, they're discussing the characteristics of the avatar for Kali Yuga. And the Navayogendras are explaining, I think among them maybe Karavajan Muni or someone is explaining that how the characteristics of the avatar of this particular Kali Yuga. Krishnavanam Tisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yadnehi Sankirtana Prayarjantihi Somirasa. So, but in Kali Yuga, the most intelligent persons will worship that incarnation of Kali Yuga by Sankirtana. Sankirtana is very powerful, and Sankirtan is the only way to satisfy Mahaprabhu. This particular incarnation of Kali Yuga is worshipped by Sankirtan. Other incarnations like Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Satya Yuga, they may be worshipped by meditation, deity worship, fire sacrifice. But Kali Yuga incarnation is worshipped by Sankirtan alone. And so, verse number 58, this is actually amazing verse from Stavamala by Srila Rupa Goswami. Stavamala is a collection of own poetry by Srila Rupa Goswami. Padmavali's anthology. He has collected poems by different poets, but this one is his own composition. Obviously, in Padmavali there are some stanzas, some verses are Samaha, means composed by himself. But this one is his own composition. So Stavamala, Srila Rupa Goswami is telling, Kalau yam vidvamsa sputam abhiyajante dyuti bharat akrishnangam krishnam makha vidhivir utkirtanamayai upasyam cha prahuryam akhila chaturtha shramajusam sadevas chaitanya kritit atitaram nah kripayatu. Kalau, in the age of Kali. Kali means, Kali is actually Ikaranta, maybe Pullinga. So Kalau, yam, him, whom, Vidvansa, the learned men. Vidvansa means those intelligent men, learned men. Sputam, clearly manifested. Abhiyajante, worship him. Duty Bharat, due to an abundance of bodily luster. A Krishna Angam, whose body is not blackish. Krishnam, Lord Krishna, Makha Vidhivi, by the performance of sacrifices. Utkirtanamayahi, consisting of loud chanting of the holy name. Yeah. Because in Kali Yuga, like today we performed a sacrifice for, the housewarming ceremony, means basically Gro Pravesham. And obviously ghee was purchased by them. Ghee was about 1,600 rupees a kilo. Quite expensive. And we used that ghee. So not everyone can afford this type of ghee, the type of ghee which is required for sacrifices. Adulterated ghee is not used. And where is the pure ghee? The pure cows are not available. So Mahaprabhu said, okay, don't worry about this ghee and all that. If you have ghee, that's fine. But if you don't have, then you just vibrate the name of Krishna. Upasyam, worshipable object. Cha and Prahu, they said, Yam, whom, Akhila, all. Chaturtha Ashrama Jusham, of those who are in the fourth order of life, sannyas. Now, this is the order of life. This is the order of life called point of no return. Means this is the final order of life, sannyas. After that, you cannot revert. There may be after brahmachari one can get married, but this order is renounced order of life. This is the final order. This can be accepted right after brahmachari ashram. Some accepted after grastha ashram. Some accepted after vanaprastha ashram. So sannyasis, they cannot get married. That's why it's called final ashram. Brahmachari, grastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So it's the final ashram, chaturtha ashram. Saha, he. And actually, obviously, there are some personalities like Bhakti-Vidanta, Saraswati Prabhupada, like Srila Gurudev. They are all beyond Chaturtha Ashram. They are actually Paramahamsas. Paramahamsas means they are actually beyond this Avdut, means beyond these four ashramas. But actually, you'll see that Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was actually liberated person. Means he didn't have to follow any of the Varna or ashram system. He didn't have to ascribe himself to the Chaturda ashram, Sannyas ashram, but still, out of his humility, he accepted the renounced order of life. He said, okay, I'm a sannyasi. Sometimes liberated persons also, out of humility, accept the rules and regulations meant for sannyas ashram. So he, Deva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Akriti, having the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Patitaram, excessively, Naha unto us, Krupayatu, let him show his mercy. Now here the word Naha used, unto us, Na or Asmakam. Asmakam is also used, short form is Naha, Krupayatu. Today I was thinking in that time that, they say church. The church actually, I said, what is this word church? What is the origin of the word church in Latin, Greek? I don't know where the word church comes from, but I said it is maybe Sanskrit origin, because where the archana is done, archana, the word archana is very much rhymes with church. Archana, where archa means deity worship. Actually, Prithu Maharaj's wife's name was Archi. From her name, Archana has come, the deity worship. So that's why this is church. Where Archana is done is church. So I think Srila Bhakti-Vidanta Saraswati Prabhupada, some disciples also in their books, they used to use church, gospel of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They used to say gospel of Lord Chaitanya, church of love. Like this, they used to use the Christian words, vocabulary a lot in preaching. Obviously because they were preaching in the Western world, and the educated persons of India who were also educated in convent schools started by the missionaries. So they found that vocabulary convenient to convince them to drive a point home. So by performing the sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name, congregation is also, there's also Christian congregation, Vaishnava congregation, understand? Congregational chanting of the holy name. Learned scholars in the age of Kali worship Lord Krishna, who is non-blackish because of the great upsurge of the feelings of Srimati Radharani. Now, why he lost that black complexion? Because of the upsurge of the feelings of Srimati Radharani. It is his mood. Now, something that is quite natural. Yeah, you can figure it out. You can look at someone's face, and if that person is angry, his face will turn reddish in color. You can see that by looking at the bodily symptoms, you can understand the mood of that particular person also. Even animals also. You can really feel what they are feeling by looking at them. Mahaprabhu also, that Krishna also, that is true. When he developed the moods of Radharani, feelings of Radharani, he became golden in color. Because golden is the color of Radharani, and that color is directly connected to the her mood of servitorship to Krishna, her love and affection for Krishna. Obviously, Krishna has very strong attraction from Radharani, no doubt about it. But the Radharani's love for Krishna is far greater. Krishna, it is not known that Krishna would faint in separation of Radharani. But Radharani is known to have fainted in separation of Krishna. So you can see the superiority of the love of Radharani. And Mahaprabhu was experiencing that, although he is Krishna. And that's why he became golden in color. He is the only worshipable deity for the Paramahamsas, who have attained the highest stage of the fourth order sannyasa. Means liberated persons, Paramahamsas. Paramahamsa means swan-like devotees. Those who can discriminate between matter and spirit. So, those who have vivek between Atma and Anatma Vastu, they are Paramahamsas. Atma Vastu is like the soul, and Anatma Vastu is the matter. So, we have to figure out what is related to our soul and what is related to matter. Matter, anything that is material, they discard it. And only spiritual things they accept. Such persons are called Paramahamsas, topmost swan-like devotees. And he is worshipable for these swan-like devotees, Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa Chudamani is the crest jewel of all the liberated persons worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who have attained the highest stage of the fourth order, sannyas. May that Supreme Personality of God, Lord Chaitanya, show us His great causeless mercy. This text, as well as text 63 and 66, is from the Stavamala of Srila Rupa Goswami. प्रत्यक्षतहार तप्त कांचनेर द्युति जहार छटाय नाशे अज्ञान तमस्त तमस्तति. Pratyaksh, vivid, tahara of him, tapta, molten kanchana of gold, diti, effulgence. Now this is actually Srila Bhakti-Vidanta Maharaj. He is writing in Prema Dhamma Stotra that tapta varna hema kanti, that he is like molten gold. But gold has no fragrance. But Mahaprabhu's body had the fragrance of parijat. Parijat is called night jasmine. If you have seen these parijat flowers, amazing flowers. I was also, lot of times, I recommend to people that you take parijat. Extremely, extremely actually beneficial for many types of diseases. That is, this type of these flowers, they look like parijat flowers. And their leaves also are very good for vata vikar. Many people have rheumatism and gout and arthritis. So these particular leaves, they have to boil them, these big leaves, and you boil them and then drink the decoction, parijat. And it is very good for women's problem also, menstrual problems and white discharge and whatnot. I was reading about it. Sometimes I read about it, and this one is actually technical name is called Nicanthus arbor-tristis parijat. But this is very fragrant. It is in India. It's called Rat Ki Rani because the flowers bloom in night and morning time they all fall in your courtyard like a shower of flowers. So these flowers are just strewn here and there. So fragrance. In Ranganath Gaudiya Math also we have. This is called Shefali in Odisha language. You see here, Jara Shefali. In Sanskrit also it is called Shefali. So in Padyavali also the word Shefali word used. The Shefali word is used in Padyavali. That Sakhisa Vijito Vina Vadde Kayapi Parastriya Panito Hova Tabhyam Panito Hova Tabhyam Kataritam Shefalishu Kharat Kusumaswapi Prasarati Navo Madde Pindo Priyana Vilambete. Sakhisa Vijito Vina Vadde Kayapi Aparastriya Panito Hova Tabhyam Tatra Kshapalitam Dhruvam Katamitarita Shefalishu Kharat Kusumaswapi Prasarati Navo Madde Pindo Priyana Vilambete. That one Sakhi is telling that, my dear Sakhi, I think Krishna may not come visit our Kunja. She is waiting in the Kunja for Krishna to come, and Krishna is not at all coming. She is waiting on and on and on. She has made the flower bed ready and she is waiting for Krishna. Krishna hasn't come. And finally the Parijat flowers, these flowers are falling here and there like anything. And then she realizes Krishna may not come at all. Why Krishna has not come? Maybe he's lost a bet with some other gopi and she has, when Krishna lost the bet, then Krishna said, okay, what do you want? I lost the bet. Okay, you spend night in my kunja. So Krishna maybe I lost the bet actually, and that's why he's staying in some other gopi's kunja. So let's go home now because Krishna may not come. So this is called Shefali, Parijat, Shivli. Bengali is called Shivli. So Mahaprabhu's bodily fragrance was like this. This is called night flowering jasmine, Shivli or Engra Buba. So Mahaprabhu's Bhakti-Vidanta Maharaj described Padma Parijata Gandha Vanditanga Saurabham Koti Kama Murchitangre Ruparasa Rangaram Prema Dhama Deva Meva Naumi Gaura Sundaram Prema Dhama Deva Meva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. Means Mahaprabhu's bodily fragrance is worshipped even by millions of lotuses. and by millions of Parijat flowers. Means his bodily fragrance was far more superior than night flowering jasmine, which is very fragrant. And he had golden complexion. Gold is not fragrant, but Mahaprabhu is more attractive than fragrant gold. So that is the superiority of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here we are seeing प्रत्यक्षतहार तप्त कांचनिरद्युति जहार छटाए नाशे अज्ञान तमस्तति प्रत्यक्ष vivid tahandra of him tapta molten kanchanera of gold duty effulgence duty jahara of whom chataya by the luster nashi destroys ajnana of ignorance tamastati the extent of the darkness. One can vividly see his glowing complexion of molten gold, which dispels the darkness of ignorance. So, Srila Bhakti-Vidanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj was giving a class in presence of Srila Gurudev. Srila Gurudev also gave a class in Navadvip Parikrama, long time ago, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. I was listening to that class, and then he was glorifying. Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj quoting a very nice verse. I forgot that verse, but he's telling that कोवा जानाति राधम परमरस चमत्कार माधुर सीमा एक चैतन्य चंद्र परम करुणया सर्वम आविष्कार. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was glorifying. Who could have revealed the moods of Radharani? Prema namat bhutarta. Now remember. Prema namat bhutarta Shravana Paragata. Kasya namna mahimna. Ko vyakta kasya vrindavana vipina maha madhurishu pravesha. Kuva janati radham paramarasa chamatkaram madhurya seema ekas chaitanya chandra parama karunaya sarvam avishchakara. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he revealed the glories of Radharani's love for Krishna, the glories of the holy name, glories of Brajadham. We are eternally indebted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I remember year 2014 or maybe 15, there was one festival was celebrated, Mahaprabhu's 500 years of Mahaprabhu's arrival in Vrindavan. And that time, the President of India, the late Pranav Mukherjee, very good personality. Pranav Mukherjee, Mr. Pranav Mukherjee, who now has passed away recently, he actually was there, chief guest. And obviously, Hema Malini ji was also a devotee of Krishna, the member of parliament, and another governor of Uttar Pradesh was Maharaj. They all were there, and so 500 years, big festival was held in Vrindavan. I attended that festival. This was my first time in my life that I had seen a sitting president. Sitting president I could see personally. I got to attend that festival. First time in my life I had seen a sitting festival, sitting president of India. In my childhood I had seen Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India, the Iron Lady, very strong lady. I remember I used to go in lap of my mother and big crowd in my city of Akola, and used to play ground. She used to speak from very far away. I have seen the Atal Bihari Vajpayee also. He was very eloquent speaker. So anyways, everyone actually respects Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even Pranab Mukherjee also offered tribute to Mahaprabhu. Actually, there are political leaders like Rahul Gandhi ji is now taking the against Padayatra, walkathon all across India against Modi government. Modi ji also has star attraction, but they all are political leaders. You see, Mahatma Gandhi also was a political leader, and a lot of crowd used to come to Mahatma Gandhi to see him. But Mahaprabhu, he was not a political leader. Mahaprabhu had no royal status as such. Means he was not a king or the prime minister of a king, or he was not a treasurer, or he was not even a soldier. He was nothing. Mahaprabhu was simply a sannyasi. But Nawab Hussain Shah, when he saw the crowd accompanying Mahaprabhu, he realized that this person has power. Then he called him Jinda Peer, means a living manifestation of Allah's power. Because who can attracts such huge crowd, so many people, even if he's not distributing money. He's not distributing money, he's not distributing gold, but people are still coming to see him. Ocean and ocean of people are coming to see him. Then he said, there must be some divine power of Allah behind Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he didn't know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is Allah. Understand? So he had that star attraction power, Mahaprabhu, because he was Bhagwan. And he naturally, the Jiva has attraction. Srila Gurudev gives an example that uh, if you release a balloon, that balloon, you have an example. In childhood, I used to purchase balloons, hydrogen balloons. Hydrogen is one part of air, which is one type of gas, which is lighter than the air. Mm. So if you release hydrogen balloon, then it goes quite a few 100 feet in the sky. And we used to feel a heartbreak when we used to accidentally release our hydrogen balloon. Because we would have paid some money, 1 rupee, 2 rupee for that. So, Srila Gurudev says that a balloon always goes to the sky, hydrogen balloon, because um, the minute air inside the balloon has attraction for the sum total of the air. And if you see a candle also, the flame always goes upwards, because the candle flame is the minute source of energy, minute source of fire, light, and heat, and the sum total of all the heat, light, and brightness is the sun planet. So obviously the flame of any flame, not just the candle's flame, any flame always goes upwards, because it is attracted to the sum total of all the light, the sun. And any earth, if you make a ball of earth, then you throw it up in the sky, always comes down back to the earth. Understand? Like many times we used to play with ball or anything. How much high you may throw in the sky, um, they used to come down. So because the ball you are using is made of earth, it will come down to the earth. So we are also attracted to Krishna because we are part of Krishna. So we are also attracted. We are always the part is always attracted to the sum total, the source. Understand? So part is always attracted to the sum total. So जीवेर कल्मष तमो नाश करिबारे अंग उपांग नाम नाना अस्त्र धरे. Apparently in Mahabharata, unless you are like a Bhima, Bhima, apparently I remember some story that there were some elephants were given to the Kauravas. These elephants were like, maybe Indra had given or someone had given them. These elephants were very strong and they could not be killed. These elephants were, no, Ravana had some elephants. And they were not to be killed at all. And he wanted to use them against Ramachandra. But Hanuman apparently, he fought against those elephants. And he thought that the elephants cannot be killed. So what to do with these elephants? So Hanuman, he took these elephants and he gave them a good revolving and threw them in the sky. And he sent them to the maybe outer orbits of the horizon. And, where they are still in the sky. Hanuman or maybe Bhima, I think. But anyway, there are some elephants like this. They're still flying in the sky. They have not come down yet. War is over. Ramayana war is over and Mahabharata war is also over. But the elephants are still in the sky. During our childhood, we remember that the Skylab, America had released one sky laboratory. It was going to fall, and every day we used to joke, where is going to fall? Hope it doesn't fall on our school. We are all dead, crushed to death, Finally, they somehow managed to cause the controlled fall down of Skylab in some part of ocean. Maybe some fish would have perished, but nothing happened to human beings. But its debris may have fallen here and there. So, 1.3.60 Chaitanya Caritamrta Jivera kalmasha tato nasha karibare anga upanga nama nanastra dhare. Jivera of the living entity, kalmasha of sinful activities, tamaha the darkness, Nasha Karivare, for destroying, Anga, associates, Upanga, devotees, Nama, holy names, Nana, various, Astra, weapons, Dhare, he holds. The sinful life of the living beings results from ignorance. Now, this is the thing, you see that people are in ignorance. Like many times, you see that Americans or Europeans, when I was in America, you see that it is natural for them, just like, eating meat or going to party, drinking liquor, going to bar. When I used to come from Manhattan, I used to always take to Manhattan on Friday night, Saturday night, and I used to see that when I used to come from work, all the bars were houseful, all pubs are houseful. They're frolicking, these, that. This is a sinful lifestyle, but I don't blame them, understand? Because they are in ignorance. No one told them there is a better lifestyle, understand? That's why you see that the sinful life of the living beings results from ignorance. And not only American, I was also like that. I didn't know that there is any higher life than eating and sleeping and making money. Didn't know. For a long time, I didn't know. Although I was born in India, no one really, gave me an idea that there is something more than getting a good job and money. There is a higher goal of life. The Pancham Purushartha, which Mahaprabhu underlined, highlighted, and propagated. This Pancham Purushartha, the fifth goal of life. Economic development, sense gratification, mundane religiosity, liberation, these goals are there. But the prema, no one told what is prema. But Mahaprabhu told us, prema namad bhutartha shravana gata gata kasya namnam mena. What is prema? 2.5 syllables. Prema is a 2.5 syllables. So basically, you would write prema, then you will write, you first write pa, and then half pa, ra, and one full ra, but pa is half, and so ma, prema. So 2.5 syllables basically. And you'll see that this prema is very difficult to understand. We all need love. God is love, love is God. Understand? Krishna is love, Krishna is love. Understand? Love. We all need is love. We are all searching for love. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us. Prema. What is prema? Sarvata dhvamsarahitam satyopi dhvamsakarane yad bhava bandhanam yuna sa prema parikirtita. Satyopi dhvamsakarane. Although there is a cause for destruction, which doesn't get destroyed, that strong bond of love between a young boy and young girl is like prema. So, to destroy that ignorance, he has brought various weapons, such as his primary associates, his devotees and the holy name. So there are weapons are required to remove the darkness. When Karnodaksha Vishnu stole the horses of Karnodaksha Vishnu stole the children, newly born children of a Brahman in Dwarka, Krishna and Arjuna took their chariot, and Krishna was riding the chariot of Arjuna, and horses of Krishna's chariot, Arjuna's chariot, they could not walk across the blinding, very dark layer of Prakriti. They just couldn't walk because there was no light. So Krishna used the Sudarshan Chakra to remove that darkness so that the horses could navigate and they could tread the proper path, don't get lost in that darkness. You might have an experience that all of a sudden light goes away, and light goes away, and then that's it. You just cannot see any object near you. I have experienced many times, and eyes somehow cannot see anything once the light goes away. Immediately you try to reach out for a torch or something, or try to open at least the window so that some light will come from the moon or moonshine or sunshine, if you're in a dark room. So like that. So, ignorance is blinding. Ignorance is blinding. When all the Brajavasis were going to Kurukshetra, they were walking day and night because they were so eager to meet Krishna in Kurukshetra. Krishna was also going to come from Dwarka for solar eclipse. And Radharani and all the Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, and all the gopis, they also were going to meet Krishna in Kurukshetra. So they were walking day and night. Kurukshetra is really a holy place. Now, recently, our BJP government in um, Haryana, the state of Haryana, has declared Kurukshetra as a holy place. So our Om Bidlaji, the head of the the president of our parliament, of the lower house of parliament, Lok Sabha Adhyaksha, he has dedicated this Kurukshetra to the nation, and it will be developed as a holy place. So there will be prasadam arrangement also is made at a concessional price for arrangement for sadhus to stay, for pilgrims centers. So BJP government is doing good work. So Om Birla is also a very righteous person, and BJP is obviously a very pro-Hindu, pro-Sanatan Dharma party. So they are developing this Kurukshetra very nicely. Om Birla ji and Mr. Khattar, the chief minister. So there is no limit of the glories of Kurukshetra. No limit. So Kurukshetra, they were coming, so they were walking day and night. So night time, obviously, it's very difficult for the bullocks to walk. They had loaded their stuff on the bullock carts, and gopis were walking. So they placed Radharani in the front, and the bodily effulgence of Radharani was dispelling all the darkness, and they were able to walk in that darkness with the help of Radharani's bodily effulgence. That is explained. And this was one type of diorama which was presented by Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada had told Bhakti-Vidanta Maharaj that please have one exhibition of dioramas, pictures, so that people get an idea what is Kurukshetra. So in Kurukshetra, Gaudiya Math has been opened long time ago, so 1930 or something. Still, Gaudiya Math is there, I think, in Kurukshetra. But Gaudiya Math bifurcated in two parts, Gaudiya Mission and Gaudiya Math, Caitanya Math and Gaudiya Mission. So it may be under the position of Gaudiya Mission, I don't know. But either way, it is still the family of Sri Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. The point I am making here is that Radharani dispelled that darkness when the Brajavasis were going to Braj. And Krishna Sudarshan Chakra dispelled the darkness when Arjuna was going across the eighth layer of the universe to the abode of Bhuma Purush, means Karnodaksha Vishnu. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also destroying that darkness. He has brought his weapons, but his weapons are not like nuclear weapons or intercontinental ballistic missiles or like, no, or biological weapons, no. His weapons are his associates. Who are his associates? Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur. His devotees like Shivas Pandit. And the holy name is also a weapon. This particular weapon of the holy name is very powerful because some devotee was there actually. Some devotee, when I joined in Gurudev Sangha in America, so there were some devotees, some Canadian devotees, American devotees, always with me. They used to make some statements. They used to say, Gurudev is more powerful than nuclear weapon. I said, why? He said, nuclear weapon cannot destroy your false ego. Gurudev can destroy your false ego. I said, wow, very nice. I want to wish the Gurudev. So, and that was true. Because even if everything is destroyed, your whole body is melted in a Hiroshima or Nagasaki like attack, still, I don't think that subtle body would have been harmed by that attack. And subtle body, those who died in that unfortunate incident would have carried that subtle body. Subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, false ego, and consciousness. So even nuclear weapon cannot touch the subtle body. The subtle body would have still existed. Soul would have also existed. Only the gross body was molten. Understand? But Mahaprabhu, the holy name, when it reaches the ears, through the cavities of our oral receptions, through ears, when it reaches our heart, it even starts to melt our false ego, starts to destroy our false ego. Now they're talking about Marine Drive. Marine Drive part of, you can check on Google, Marine Drive part of Mumbai is called Queen's Necklace. Nighttime with the lit lamps across the seashore, it looks like the necklace of Queen Elizabeth or Queen Victoria. So, so they are saying that Marine Drive will be submerged very soon because big icebergs in Arctic region and Antarctic region. They're all are polar regions. They're all melting, and the sea level is going to alarmingly going to rise. And there are certain cities like California, Los Angeles, and also maybe New York, and Mumbai. These cities are going to be endangered. God forbid it doesn't happen like that, but scientists are predicting global warming or whatever it is. Um, and actually, mm, there are some lobbies actually. They are talking against cows also. I told Sripad Dandi Maharaj also. I told that um, they are blaming the depletion of ozone layer to cows. They were telling that the ozone layers are depleting because the cows are burping. After eating grass, they burp, and that burp is giving some out gas, and which destroys the ozone, which is a neutral gas, as they call it. What is it called? Inert gas. They call it inert gas in physics. O3 is the formula for ozone. Long time I have studied chemistry, organic and inorganic. But they say ozone layer is destroyed by the burping of cows. Then Sripad Dandi Maharaj said this is nonsense. They just want some excuse to kill cows. So now they were blaming cows for ozone depletion. They are not talking about their. Sripad Dandi Maharaj was telling me that you use a car for 1 hour. Uh, you use a car for 1 hour, and that car is actually consumes oxygen for one entire year. A healthy human being may use that same oxygen is used by a car in just 1 hour. Means the IC engine, internal combustible engine of a car, will use the oxygen meant for a healthy human being in just 1 hour. One entire year of oxygen is used by the car. So they are not talking about these useless automobiles. They're only talking about the cows. So to destroy that ignorance, he has brought various weapons. And his weapons are his holy name. So holy name is very important. And it is the Sripad Avadhut Maharaj, Bhakti-Vidanta Avadhut Maharaj, whose name was Upananda Prabhu. He was actually, his father was a pilot or maybe an airline employee, United Airlines or some airlines, American. So he used to go to Australia. He met Kurma Prabhu. His show Cooking with Kurma is very famous. And he met Kurma Prabhu, his devotee. So he actually preached to him, and he came to ISKCON and took shelter of Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. So he writes in his book, I'm grateful to Upananda Prabhu because he brought me to Krishna consciousness. So anyways, Upananda Prabhu always used to say, Bhaktivedanta Avadhut Maharaj, that holy name is whether you want it or don't want to hear it. You have to hear it and it is going to change your heart. So he used to take us to wherever place, Promenade in San Diego, Los Angeles, markets, places, Venice Beach. Always saying, let's do Kirtan, Sankirtan. Gurudev also used to support. Always go on Nagar Kirtan. Many times in UCLA campus, I used to sit there and used to do Sankirtan. And people, the students are going here and there. They may not be noticing so much devotees, but they are getting purified. This is Mahaprabhu's gift. So verse number 61. Bhakti Ravirodhi Karma Dharma Va Dharma Taharo Kalmashanama Sei Mahatama. Bhakti to devotional service. Virodhi averse. Karma the activity. Dharma religious. Va or adharma irreligious. Tahara of that. Kalmasha sin. Nama of the name. Say this Mahatama great darkness. The greatest ignorance consists of activities, whether religious or irreligious, that are opposed to devotional service. They are to be known as sins, kalmasha. What is the greatest ignorance? Activities, whether religious or religious, that are opposed to devotional service. Now question comes that religious activities, how can they be opposed to devotional service? For that you have to study Jaiva Dharma. Many times, I'll give an example that there is a Bakri Eid. Bakri Eid is the day on which they slaughter many goats. Because in Islam, they believe that one of their predecessors offered his own son in sacrifice to Allah. So they say that we also should offer something we really love as the sacrifice to Allah. So they cultivate a goat by feeding them dry fruit and very nutritious food, and then they sacrifice that goat on the day of Bakri. Sometimes they sacrifice cows also because cows are cheaper. Nowhere it is mentioned you should sacrifice cows. Only bakra. Bakra means goat. But they sacrifice cows also because cows are cheaper. Which is not written in their religion. Still they sacrifice cows, which is very much against our religion. So so-called religious activities may be completely opposed to devotional service. And there are certain areas in Bangalore, in Bakri Day, you cannot walk there because there are streams of blood across the rivers of blood actually, literally, small streams of blood flowing on the roadside because they have sacrificed so many goats. So such so-called religious activities are actually against devotional service. And if, I have seen many times, sometimes Bakri falls on Ekadashi day. So Ekadashi is Madhavati thi bhakti janani jatane palana kori. Here Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the incarnation of Kamala Manjari, is telling us, follow Madhav Tithi, the day of Madhav, Shri Radha Madhav, and fast on that day. And the Muslims are cutting goats because they think that is religious. So we should not do the activities which are opposed to devotional service, even if they may be religious, even if they may be recommended by your present religion, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, or even Shaivas and Shaktas, who are part of Hindus, but they are not accepting. Many Shaktas they sell. No, we are worshippers of Shakti, Durga. Why should we do Ekadashi? Some devotees of Shiva say, we don't want to do Ekadashi. We are Shaivas, we are not Vaishnavas. But Lord Shiva told Parvati one day that any person who doesn't do Ekadashi is not dear to me. Sripad Vaman Goswami Maharaj writes this in his introduction to Harivasar book. So whether you are Shakta or anyone, or Shaiva, or Ganapatya, worshipper of Ganesh, or Hindu or Muslim, you have to do Ekadashi. Activities which are against bhakti should be forbidden. And irreligious activities obviously opposed to devotional service. What is irreligious activity? Like having illicit sex is irreligious activity. Understand? So, Ekadashi day obviously, one cannot engage in any sense gratification. Even with your rightful wife, you have to abstain from her association that day. That means not enjoy. So that day is against enjoyment. Understand? So there are certain days which are stipulated. We on this day, especially month of Kartik and some holy days like Ekadashi, those days are strictly meant for devotional service. Understand? That those days, no religious activities or religious activities can be performed. So they have to be known as sins, kalmasha. Kalmasha means activities opposed to bhakti. So bhakti anukula matra karyara svikar, bhakti pratikula bhava varjanangika. We must not do the activities which are opposed to bhakti. We must reject the activities which are opposed to bhakti, and which are favorable to bhakti we must do by all means. So verse number 62. Bahutuli hari bali prema drushte chai kariye kalmashanasha premite bhasai. Bahutuli, raising the arms. Now, devotees you always see that they raise the arms. Two arms they always raise. Why they raise the arms? We all in ISKCON also see someone's birthdays they say raise your hands, say Haribol. So why you have to raise the hand? Generally in school we are taught always raise your hand to ask a question. You just don't ask a question. You raise your hand and teacher will notice you, and then he will tell you, ask the question. Or sometimes we raise the hands. Someone is drowning in the ocean of birth and death. Someone is drowning in the ocean and they show the hands and someone may try to rescue them, right? So anyways, these two hands should be raised when we chant Hari Bol. The devotees apparently purify the upper planetary system by raising their hands. And when they thump with their feet on the ground, dance ecstatically, then they purify the lower planetary system. So anyway, you are supposed to raise hands because Mahaprabhu is to raise hands. Hari Boli. In ISKCON you'll see all the deities Mahaprabhu with upraised hands. And in Gaudiya Math you'll see one hand up and one hand down. So when I joined Gaudiya Math, I used to say, wow, Mahaprabhu is quite different here. He's raising one hand and one hand is down. What is the reason? So I used to ask the devotees. Then they used to tell me that, oh, he's taking prema of Radharani by one hand, accepting the prema of Radharani, and one hand is distributing that. They used to tell us like that. I said, why here no Mahaprabhu raising both hands? In your Gaudiya Math deity is one hand up and one hand down. And also, in Gaudiya Math I was seeing that one speciality that Mahaprabhu is made the same size as Radha Krishna. Means like not any miniature Mahaprabhu, small tiny Mahaprabhu. No, but big Mahaprabhu, like same size as Radharani at least, if not Krishna. Means he is actually proportionately as big as Radha Krishna. That was one speciality of Mahaprabhu I saw. Means Mahaprabhu is given a great importance in Gaudiya Math. Understand? No wonder why. Because he was so merciful. Bahutuli Hari Boli Prema Drishti Chai. Kariya Kalmasha Nasha Premete Bhasai. Bahutuli raising the arms, Hari Bali, chanting the holy name Hari. Prema Drishti with his glance of deep love. Hari means, you say many times in English language, Hari, 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 Hari. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Somehow, hurry, worry, and curry causes ulcers and source of all diseases. Hurry, worry, and curry. They say that avoid hurry, don't hurry. Worry, don't worry. And curry. Curry means too many spicy food will give you ulcers and ill health. Understand? But here Mahaprabhu is chanting the Hari. Hari actually is sometimes used for a thief also who has stolen. But Hari means one who has stolen the heart of Radharani, stolen the moods of Radharani, that is Gaur Hari. Or Krishna who steals the heart of Radharani, that is called Hari. Harir harati papani dushta chitte rapesmrta anichhapi samskrishta dhatte vai pavaka. Suppose you unknowingly or knowingly you touch fire, what will happen? Your hand will burn. So knowingly or unknowingly chant Hari Hari, all your sins will be dissipated. So Hari is the most powerful name of Krishna. Very easy to chant Hari Hari. Prema Drishti, with his glance of deep love. The love is transmitted through eyes. Eyes as the indication of love. So many people used to say that Corona times we saw that eyes can also transmit love and affection. Because everyone had a mask, so they couldn't smile. But you could see their eyes are smiling. Their eyes are pleading, their eyes are begging, their eyes are... So eyes could also transmit a lot of emotions. This was seen in Corona times. So Mahaprabhu's his glance is full of deep love. Chaya. Deep means actually here fathomless love. Fathomless means no one knows the depth of it. That is called fathomless love. Chaya, he looks, Kariya, causing kalmasha to sins, nasha, destruction, premete, in love of God, asaya, he floods. Raising his arms, chanting the holy name, and looking upon all with deep love. He is looking at all the living entities with deep love. He drives away all sins and floods everyone with love of Godhead. Like many religious teachers I see that they just embrace anyone they see, they say, we love you, and they embrace. Like this. They said that, but actually Mahaprabhu, he may or may not have embraced all the living entities, but his eyes, his glance was embracing everyone and was driving away their sins and flooding them with the love of Godhead. Means he was gifting the love of Godhead, the ultimate gift, just by his glance. Means his glance was so powerful that they were getting the highest valuable thing just by his glance. So now that is actually in Jaiva Dharma and also in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, that Mahaprabhu's distribution of love is two types, Hardik and then also by Drushti. By heart he can inject. If Mahaprabhu thinks in a heart about someone, then he can inject love in that person's heart. Or he looks at someone also, he can inject love. Understand? Surcharge the person who is he glancing at with love and affection. Means his glance is like shower of love. Like for example, all of a sudden some torrential shower will come and you are fully drenched in no time. So like that, Mahaprabhu's glances were full of shower of love. It was like Prema Vrishti. Prema Vrishti. That is what our book Madhurya Kadambari means. The cloud bank of nectar. So many nectar-filled clouds which are showering there. Even in a desert, there is actually shower of love. Like one time I went to Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I think the state of Nevada, maybe. I think so. Oh, Nevada and Arizona, they're all desert states. California is also semi-desert. So, and we're driving hours and hours and hours and hours in Nevada, nowhere near Las Vegas. Then finally we came to one Bengali family's house, I remember. And then Gurudev was going to come there. Sripad Avdut Maharaj took us there, and I think Gurudev maybe came there. But so, anyways, they were recipients of Gurudev's mercy. Means in the middle of desert also, they came. Srila Gurudev came. He showered his love there. Middle of nowhere, Nevada desert. Understand? So like that, in the top of a mountain. In Hawaii is also middle of nowhere. Hawaii is in middle of the ocean, nowhere. But Srila Bhakti-Vidanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, went so many times to Hawaii, and he wrote books there, showered his love of God there. So you'll see that Sripad Dandi Maharaj tells a story that once he said there are in Kavi, there are 9 islands. Like there is Navadvip, there are 9 islands in Hawaii also. One island is Kavi, and Sripad Dandi Maharaj stayed in that island apparently, Kavi. And he said there are many roosters, hens, chickens are there. So many, uncountable. So Maharaj said how they came there, because once a shipload of chickens came, and I think it's submerged there, and all the chickens they swam to the shore and somehow survived, and the whole island is taken over by roosters. And Srila Gurudev also tells that these are the roosters. They morning time, like Radha Krishna's wake up time. When Radha Krishna is sleeping in the kunja in the morning, they wake up Radha Krishna. That is their job. And they say, "Cuckoo," like this, they make a sound. And Radha Krishna wake up. And they are actually inspired by Vrinda, who's the director of all Radha Krishna's conjugal pastimes. She sends this rooster. So in Hindi, they call it Murga. In Urdu, they call it Murga. Murga is actually Urdu word. Urdu language is like Hindi, but it is more influenced by Farsi and Arabic, which are like Muslim languages. So some devotee said that Murga. And then Gurudev said, no, not Murga, Tamra Picha. Tamra Picha. Tamra Picha means the feathers which are reddish in color. Picha means feathers. Tamra means reddish, like copper color, reddish. So that is generally in India, roosters are having feathers which are reddish in color. So Gurudev said Tamra Picha. Sanskrit name would be Tamra Picha or Kukkut. So like that. So they also have a role. They also have a role in service of Radha Krishna. Even the roosters, they are there for a purpose. Everyone has a role to play in Radha Krishna's pastimes. And Mahaprabhu is inviting us there. Understand? Atma Siddha Savalila Swanubhava Lakshanam. Atma Siddha Savalila Swanubhava Lakshanam. Matta Krishna. Kirtanakhya Vantanam. Is distributing to Kirtan the moods of Radha Krishna. So Smitavaloka Shokam Harati Jagatam Yasya Parito Giram Tu Prarambha Kushala Patalim Pallavayati Padalambha Kamba Pranayati Nahi Prema Nivaham Sadevas Chaitanya Kritir Atitaram Nah Krupayatu. There are many ways to utter a Sanskrit verse. There is, depending on what type of meter there is. There is Bhujanga Prayat. Bhujanga Prayat is a meter where it is like a snake is moving. There is also Shardula Vikridita. Shardula Vikridita is type of a meter, like a lion playing with a small deer. Playing and then So like that. There are different meters. Banda Kranta. So there are meters. So this may be, I think, I don't know which meter. This is Shardul Vikradit. Let's try Shardul Vikradit. Smita loka shokam harati jagatam yasya parito giram tu para prarambha kushala patalim pallavayati padadamma kamma pranayati nahi prema nivaham sadevas chaitanya krutir atitaram nah krupayatu. स्मितालोकाशोकं हरति जगतां यस्य परितो गिरां तुः प्रारम्भात् कुशलपटालिं पल्लवयति पदलम्बकं वा प्रणयति नहि प्रेमनिवहम् सदेवश्चैतन्याकृतिरतितरां नः कृपयतु. This is actually used a meter for Nityananda Ashtakam. So in Gaudiya Math. So that also can be used here. Smita. Smita means smiling. Now Smita is like smiling but not maybe showing your teeth. Understand? That is maybe Smita. Manda Smita. Manda Smita means not showing your teeth. Not like ha 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 ha. Not like that, but smiling. Gentle smiling. Smita, smiling. Alokaha, glance. Shokam, the bereavement. Shokam means bereavement, separation. Harati takes away. Harati is present tense, taking away. Jagatam of the world, Yasya, whose. Paritaha, all around. Giram of the speech, to also. Prarambha, the beginning. Kushala of auspiciousness. Patalim, the mass. Pallavayati, causes to blossom. Pada alambaha, the taking hold of lotus feet. Kamba, what possibly. Pranayati leads to, na, not, he certain. Now let's see that pranayati and also you'll see that pallavayati. These are all present tense. Means Mahaprabhu's pastimes are eternal. So that's why present tense has been used. It is not said apallavat, apranayat. That would have been past tense. Perfect past tense or like that. So I'm not very good at grammar, but still means these pastimes are eternal pastimes. Like gopis are also telling, Jayati te dhikam janmana braja shrayatam indira shashvadatra. Jayati te adhikam janmana braja. So gopis are saying Jayati. They are also using present tense. Means Krishna's pastime are eternal. So that's why present tense is used to denote those pastimes, not the past tense. So prema nivaham, quantity of love of God. Saha, he, Devaha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Akriti, having the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Atitara, excessively enough unto us, Krupayatu, may he show his mercy. So may the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya bestow his causeless mercy upon us. His smiling glance at once drives away all the bereavements of the world, and his very words enliven the auspicious creepers of devotion by expanding their leaves. So actually, smile also very important. Like any husband will come home, and if he sees his wife smiling, shining smile, then he'll forget all the torments he had, all the office politics he had to deal with, all the economic setbacks he had. If he can only see the smiling face of his wife, so if wife's smile can be so enlivening and encouraging for a husband who is otherwise downtrodden, what to speak of Mahaprabhu's smile? So Mahaprabhu's glance is assuring, don't worry, I am there. And all the bereavement of the world, bereavements of the world. Bereavements actually of the world means maybe son has died, father has died, husband has divorced, your wife has divorced you, either way. But when you come to Mahaprabhu, then you forget that. And many devotees have experienced that they had actually unfortunate lost their sibling or may have lost their progeny. And then they came to Krishna consciousness and they forgot it. That distress was relieved. Like in homeopathy also there are some medicines. They're called Ignatia. Shripad Aniruddha Prabhuji. He is actually used to learn some. He learned some actually medicines when he was staying in Jaipur. Aniruddha Prabhuji came in touch with an homeopath, and he learned from him. And he told me once that if there is someone is having great distress, then he should take Ignatia, and you'll forget that distress. So here also you'll see that can Ignatia help my anxiety? Everyone is in anxiety. So they make from this. These are some herbs, aushadhi. There are things. This is a type of medicine. Ignatia is used for anxiety disorders, especially the native of Philippines. Srila Gurudev used to like Philippines because in Philippines, Cebu, on the shore of the ocean, and Srila Gurudev used to go and used to do his literary work there, writing books, translating books, Cebu. So the point I'm making that if these herbs which are created by Krishna can remove your anxiety in a small potency, very small potency, one drop of this medicine, just one drop can remove your anxiety. What to speak of Krishna, who's source of all the herbs? Now let us not. There is no debate that the herbs have power in them. I have seen personally herbs have power in them. I have experienced the power of stones also. Suppose you have too much anxiety, then they say that you wear this moonstone. For moon, the gemstone that is generally recommended is pearl. Many people wear pearl because it is. If someone's moon is weak, then they say wear pearl. Also, there is mantra. Mantra also has power. Suppose you are feeling very scared, then you chant Narsingha mantra, Namaste Narsinghaya. Then you'll feel immediately strength. So, mantra, mani, and aushadhi, these three have inconceivable power. But source of all this power is Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Understand? So if anyone will look at the smile of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his bereavement of the world will go away. Sripad Anil Prabhu used to say that Ignatia removes the bereavement, distress of bereavement. Someone has suffered a loss of a child or something, then he used to recommend Ignatia. This medicine causes us to forget the distress. So his very words enliven the auspicious creepers of devotion by expanding their leaves. Now we are studying this particular Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti is like a creeper. And this creeper has first comes two leaves, right? One is Kleshagni and Shubhada. Means all auspicious things will happen to you and all your distress will go away. Then the second two leaves will come and they are Moksha Labrutakuru Sudarlava. Then the third set of two leaves will come that Sandrananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Krishnichasa. So this creeper of devotion will yield the fruit of love. So Mahaprabhu distributed that fruit of love free of charge to everyone by just his glance. So Mahaprabhu enlivens the auspicious creepers of devotion by expanding their leaves. Means Mahaprabhu, what are the leaves? There are 6 leaves. Kleshagni, Shubhada, Moksha Lagrutakra Sudarlava, Sandrananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Karshnichasa. That will be discussed elaborately in Jaiva Dharma and also Madhurya Kadambini. So taking shelter of his lotus feet invokes transcendental love of God at once. Now, this one is actually very important thing. That if you take shelter of Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, then he gives prem right away. Patra patra vicharanam na kurute naswam param vikshate. Deya de vimarshako nainava kala pratiksha prabhu. Sadhyoya shravanekshana pranaman dhyanadinam durlabam. Datte bhakti rasam saiva bhagavan gaurah param negati. Patra patra vicharanam kurute. Patra means receptacle, vessel, utensil. Suppose you want to purchase some oil or milk, they will always say, where is your utensil or where is your container? Suppose someone has no container, then what will the person give you? He will give the container. Understand? So like that, Mahaprabhu is so merciful that someone has no receptacle also, he will give him that receptacle to carry the love of God. So simply remembering, taking shelter of his lotus feet, one develops transcendental love of God. It's very easy if you take shelter of Mahaprabhu, because he is very merciful. He doesn't discriminate so much. He doesn't deliberate also. He doesn't uh, delay. Immediately he gives love of God if anyone surrenders to his lotus feet. He's a very merciful Lord. Understand? So Shri Anga Shri Mukha Jai Kare Darshana Tara Papa Kshaya Paya Premadana. Shri Anga, if you see the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his body, Shri Mukha is beautiful face. Jai, anyone who Kare does, Darshana sees, Tara of him, Papakshaya, destruction of sins, Haya, there is. Paya obtains Premadana, the wealth of love of God. Anyone who looks upon his beautiful body or beautiful face becomes freed from all sins and obtains the wealth of love of God. So Srila Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Maharaj used to say that Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are antiseptic and prophylactic. Antiseptic means removing all the infections, infection of sin. Understand? So that is what it is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Papakshaya. And अन्य अवतारे सब सैन्य शस्त्र संगे चैतन्य कृष्ण सैन्य अंग उपांगे. Anya avatare in incarnation sub all Sainya soldiers, Shastra and weapons Sange along with Chaitanya Krishna of Lord Krishna Chaitanya. Sainya soldiers, Anga, plenary parts, Upange and associates. In other incarnations, the Lord descended with armies and weapons. But in this incarnation, his soldiers are his plenary parts and associates. So other incarnations, you'll see that Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Pattish, Bhala, Trishul, Javelin and whatnot. The Lord has so many weapons. But you'll see that in this particular incarnation, Lord has no weapons at all. So you'll see that Narsingadev also has so many weapons. Narsingadev, deities with 16 hands, you might have seen so many weapons. But Mahaprabhu, no weapons. His weapon is Harinam. Harinam, and all the devotees. Like these are ferocious incarnations. You'll see that Narsingadev, sometimes you'll see his form carrying so many weapons. But Mahaprabhu not even carrying chisel like nails also. He simply by his glance, by his Nama Sankirtan, he's actually killing all the demons. So you'll see that our Narsingadev is having this discus, very sharp edges. There is also, you'll see that that also is carrying sword in his hand, then he's carrying club in his hand, then he's carrying arrow in his hand, he's carrying, so many. And then there are some intestines of Hiranyakashipu also, he's garlanding himself, because the Semina passes through this. So Prahlad has stayed in this intestine, so he's saying holy place. But Mahaprabhu, his weapons are only Nam Sankirtan. So Nam is Namnamakari Bahuda Niyasarva Shakti Statrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. Etadrushitava Kripa Bhagavan Mama Durdave Idrushya Javinanuraga. So he has given this holy name. This is the topmost weapon. Understand? So this is the topmost weapon of Mahaprabhu. So Sadopasya Shriman Dhutamanuja Kai Pranayitam Vahadvirgirvaner Girisha Parameshti Prabhuti Vi Savaktivya Shuddham Nija Bhajana Mudram Upadishan Sachaitanya Kimme Punarapidrushoryasya Padam. These amazing verses from Sri Rupa Goswami. And their meaning is also given in Bengali language. So that's why this book is very sweet. Here, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva is described. But we'll save it for the next class. So Thank you very much for being with me. And today is December 2. So I'm planning to stay maybe up to this for another week or so, or maybe more in Sindhanur for some work. So I think I'll continue to give my classes. Also, Sripad Dandi Maharaj online classes will continue. Thank you very much. If you have any comments or questions, you are free to ask. Um, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol.
Good.
Hare Krishna.
Well,
Hari Bol.
there's so much to ask. It's so plain spoken that Mahaprabhu had played such a nice role to represent his people and life. And you bring it out so plain and so straightforward, plain talk. That is good. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. No, actually, this Srila Bhakti-Vidanta Swami Maharaj, when he was in Jalandhara, he told that the only consolation, only solace, only shelter, and only relief from this agonizing vomiting and this particular seasickness is this Chaitanya Charitamrta. I am surviving only by drinking the nectar of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Because they are transcendental pastimes, and that's why I was sitting once in Gita Nagari in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia maybe, the state of Philadelphia. So there, in the temple room, I was sitting there in Gita Nagari where Prabhupada had stayed, Bhakti-Vidanta Swami Maharaj. I was picked up this Chaitanya Charitamrita. I was not a very senior devotee that time, maybe 3-4 years in movement, 5 years. But I started reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and it attracted me. The other day also I saw one devotee, Tirupati, Madhusudan Prabhu, and he also purchased Chaitanya Charitamrita of Bhakti-Vidanta Swami Maharaj. He started reading it, and although he's a new devotee, but he liked it. He said, I read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then he said, oh, I know the story of Chota Haridas, how Mahaprabhu punished him because he talked to, he asked some rice from Madhavi Devi, an old woman. Although it was no fault of his, Mahaprabhu punished him to set an example for sannyasis, how they should not deal intimately with women. Then Gurudev was also making this point. He said that Mahaprabhu was so strict that he didn't forgive Chota Haridas, although there was no fault of his. But he said Mahaprabhu's devotees are more merciful than Mahaprabhu. They are more merciful. So he said that more than Mahaprabhu, you remember Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and Sikh Goswamis and our Acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj. So we have to remember these associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu more than Mahaprabhu. This is what Gurudev told, because they are more merciful. They are so merciful than Mahaprabhu.
So,
So
what's the end? Hold on. So, what's the essence behind when the Maharaj went and collect some rice from the lady?
actually,
What's the
there
story
was
exactly?
Mahaprabhu, Bhagwan Acharya. He was actually told him to bring some rice because Mahaprabhu was going to do Bhiksha, Prasadam, take Prasadam. So he went to get some high quality rice from Madhavi Devi. Madhavi Devi was a sister of, 80-year-old sister of Shiki Mahati, who was an internal associate of Mahaprabhu. And Madhavi Devi also was an internal associate of Mahaprabhu. She was a half internal associate. But still, there was no fault of his. But still, Mahaprabhu punished him just to set an example that Mahaprabhu simply asked, who got this rice? Then they said that Chota Haridas got this rice. Then he said, today onwards, don't let him come in my company. Actually, Mahaprabhu's internal associates like Chota Haridas cannot have any fault. But Mahaprabhu will use them as his examples to show us that how one should be very strict dealing with opposite sex, especially in a renounced order of life. So otherwise he could not have taught us. So he taught using his own associates.
I read in Canto 9, 14, 11, where Prabhupada talk about women, fox, fly like a fox. So is that what you're referring to?
That is not to be taken literally, and it's actually men and women. They who are not
Yeah,
devotees,
yeah.
both actually, as this we are reading just now, that it is ignorance. Understand? Ignorance
Yes,
alone
yes.
brings the bad qualities in us. If we have knowledge, then you
Mm,
see that devotee men and devotee women, they have distinctly good qualities. They have some
yeah.
transcendental qualities manifesting in them. But if they are
Mm,
non-devotees, then sometimes they may have these qualities, but sometimes non-devotees also have seen some good qualities in them.
mm,
So it's case by case.
yeah.
And but ultimately speaking, Mahaprabhu, he doesn't say that you are wicked, and then I will not help you. No, anyone, even fallen person,
Mm,
everyone, crooked person. Actually, the most flourishing ministry is prison ministry. Yeah. Because they have all the time in the world to study and retrospect, in retrospect, look at what happened in their life, what went really wrong, to do introspection
mm,
to their past actions, and to
mm,
lament, and to and to take corrective actions. They have all the time. So Shamarani Didi, she's spearheading this prison ministry of Gurudev. I'm pretty sure ISKCON may also have the prison ministry. So they distribute these books of Srila Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Maharaj and Srila Gurudev free of charge to the prisoners. If anyone will write to Vasanti Didi or Anita Didi, they will immediately dispatch a book to the prison authorities, and prison authorities will hand over that book to that person.
oh,
Because you see that we blame the prisoners. They have done such heinous activity or this or that, but um,
enough of those things
actually
are not true.
they are actually there. Sometimes you can say that that is their distorted nature. In Jaiva Dharma, that is what we are studying. The ice is the distorted nature of water. So once transcendental loving nature to Krishna is distorted, then these deformities may manifest. But gently preaching Krishna consciousness, when we preach Krishna consciousness gently, lovingly, then their true nature will manifest, and their true nature will be full of love and affection. Understand?
Yeah.
So we have to gently preach this Krishna consciousness. Like there is some prisoners, they are kept in solitary confinement. So then they may be just playing chess with themselves, but that doesn't rectify their heart. But if they read
Yeah.
this Chaitanya Charitamrta or Chaitanya Bhagavad or Bhagavad Gita as it is, or Srila Gurudev's any book like Madhurya Kadambini, they may they may learn something. They may know that there is a higher world. There is actually there is something beyond this prison also. There is actually there is actually some hope. There is some hope beyond this also. Because you see
Mm,
that prison life is very painful. I can imagine how painful it must be always to be under in the confinement of four walls.
I
Um,
know.
but there is and actually it is actually a prison within a prison. We actually are encaged in a prison. This material body itself is like a prison. This material world is also itself like a prison. And then every prisoner has been given two types of uniforms. One is the gross body and subtle body. So
Mm,
तव स्वल्प स्फूर्ति स्पाय उग्र ताप दूरे जाय लिंग भंग हय अनायास. That if little bit chanting, even a glimmer, dim glimmer of chanting of the holy name is introduced in the prisons, they introduced some meditation forms like vipassana and all in the prison, and they got some good results. If that those impersonal meditation can bring some good results, what to speak of introducing a class of Nama Sankirtan, Hare Krishna mantra? Certainly, that will. What is the prison meant for? The prison is meant for reforming their lives. Understand? Not to make them into hardened criminals. So this Mahamantram is Akrishtikrita Chetasam Sumatam, quoting from Lakshmidhar Tirtha that Akrishtikrita Chetasam Sumatam Uchchadanam Chamasa Achandala Mamukuloka Sulabo Vashasya Mokshashriya Nodiksham Nacha Satkriyam Nacha Purascharyang Managikshate Mantroyam Rasana Sprugeva Falati Shri Krishna Namatmaka. So this Krishna Nam mantra, this Maha mantra is very, very powerful. This Maha mantra can rectify our heart. and it is even for Achandalam. Even dog eaters can chant these holy names. It has the power to eradicate all the sins. So someone will tell you that I will take away all your sins. Then you say, thank you very much. How can you take away my sins? Or just utter this name. It's very simple. You chant that name and all the sins are gone. So like a question is asked that how many matchbox, how many matchsticks are required to burn many mountains of cottons. Like in where I was born, Vidarbha region, so much cotton is produced there. And suppose there is a spinning mill or weaving mill or some place where the cotton is required, and mountains, truckloads, shipload of cotton is there, and only one matchstick is enough to burn all those heaps of mountains of cotton to ashes. So like that, only one name of Krishna is sufficient to burn heaps
For
and
all
mountain
evil.
loads of our sins. Such powerful. So if that can be introduced in the prison, then obviously the government will see the better effect. Any government will see the better effect. Obviously, because the government spends a lot of our tax money to maintain the prisoners. Understand? Government also spends. There's so much security, so much money. The money which can be used for development purpose is spent on the prisoners. But they are not optimum. Because there is a confluence of so many prisoners, and then there is brainstorming, and they learn better techniques of duping people, cheating people. That is the problem. But if the prison can be made into a satsanga place, holy association, then it will be a different thing. So some sadhus can also go. I know that Rohinandan Prabhu in Vrindavan, he also goes to Vrindavan prisons and he gives classes there. So everywhere, actually, schools, colleges, not just prisons, but everywhere we should teach this.
I went and I see people get jailed for nothing. Other people set them up. I see that.
Yes. There are many
Simple
times
things.
there, obviously, because it is.
I see the big thief is out here, and the innocent slave are in jail.
Right. So,
I
all
find
right.
that ridiculous.
Jai,
I
Jai.
I, I will talk to you about coming to India in March. I want to do so. I don't know. Let's see how it's gonna work,
Jai, Jai,
and
Jai.
spend some time there.
Sure. Hare
But
Krishna, Hare
I
Krishna.
but Maharaj, I like this plain talk. I like how you did it. Plain talk.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Didi. Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Dhanavad.
Vanchakalpataruvesya kripa sindhuvesya pridhanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Dandot. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanyavad Prams. Thank you so much for that.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
And I'm ready on it. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
गंधर्विका गिरिधारी राधा विनोद बिहारी जी की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद
Jai, Jai.
स्तोत्र विष्णु देवी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र श्रीमद भक्ति वेंद्र दंडी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य ले प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद भक्ति वेंद्र नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य ले
Jai, Jai.
प्रविष्ट विष्णु अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद भक्ति वेंद्र वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य ले प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य ले
Jai,
प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय।
Jai,
नित्य ले
Jai.
प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य ले
Jai,
प्रविष्ट
Jai.
परम भगवत श्री गौर किशोरदास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नित्य ले
Jai,
प्रविष्ट
Jai.
श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य
Jai,
प्रविष्ट
Jai.
वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री गौड़िया
Jai, Jai.
वेदांत बलदेव विद्याभूषण प्रभु की जय। श्री विष्णु चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय।
Jai,
श्री
Jai.
नरोत्तम श्री वैष्णव प्रभु राय श्री जय। श्री कृष्ण कविराज गौस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री रूप
Jai, Jai.
सनातन बात जीव गोपाल बादास सत गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री
Jai,
स्वरूप
Jai.
दामोदर श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री गदाधर की वसति गौर भक्तविंद की जय। शांतादीप मायको सीमा गोधूमदीप मध्यदीप कोलादीप ऋतुदीप जानुदीप मोद्रद्रुमदीप पत्नकाशी नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोवर्धन द्वादश ब्रह्मकाश श्री वज्रमंदा की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती विनय देव की जय। श्री पौर्णमासी योग की जय। गोपीजन महादेव की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र जी की जय। श्वेत मंदिर की जय। सर्व श्री नरसिंहदेव की जय। भक्त प्रवासी प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। चार धाम की जय। चार संप्रदाय की जय। चार आचार्य की जय। अकर महाराज की चैतन्य मास की जय। शिवजी गौरी अमर होता तक माता की जय। ग्रंथ श्रीमद भागवतम की जय। श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। सामगात भक्त की जय। श्री गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल।
हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण धन्यवाद। हरे कृष्ण।
Maharaj,
मोहन प्रभु की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Maharaj,
Thank you, Ananga,
Maharaj,
for that.
Hare Krishna. What's the
Okay, we'll
purpose
take it.
for running down? What's the purpose for running down this prayer? I don't even understand sometimes when this prayer going on. They're running down this prayer so fast and so blah 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 blah, blah like a tractor. I don't understand.
Okay, I'll explain to you offline. Okay, after this class.
Okay. All right. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Dandas, because everyone is waiting. Hare Krishna. Dandas.
Krishna, that's the promise. Thank you so much for attending today.
Hare
And thank you,
Krishna.
dear devotees, for attending. See you all tomorrow for Srimad Bhakti-Vidanta Dandi Maharaj's class. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Vancha
Padesha kripa sindhu
kalpatruvyascha
parikanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Didi.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Dandas. Dandas.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.